So you can see here, students, that is chapter number 19, java.util, part 2 it is. This includes the classes that consists of tokenizing the strings, which works with date, compute random numbers, bundle resources, observe events, and also formatter and scanner I have already explained, okay, etc. etc. So the first topic under this, the java.util part 2, more utility classes, is string tokenizer. Remember, a string tokenizer is one class again in Java. The purpose of this class is to divide the text into some discrete parts. Okay, it will break down the text into some discrete parts so that we can achieve with the help of this string tokenizer class. Okay, before going into the theory, what I want is I want you all to see execution of the program. Only one thing I will first of all mention is, you will just observe here at line number 14, there is one variable, or I should say an object in, which is assigned with some string title equal to Java, then complete reference. Another one is concatenated. That string is concatenated with another string, that is author equal to Shield, and again it is concatenated with publisher equal to McGraw-Hill, then again concatenated with copyright 2014. Okay, now what we are going to do is, you just observe at line number 16. I will explain in detail afterwards, don't worry. What I'm going to show you the output in the form is, it will break down this string into this part, two parts, wherever there is equal to and semicolon. Okay, let me just compile the program. It is st demo. Okay, it is compiled now. You can see over here, it is compiled, and now I will run the program. Just observe here. You can observe the first output. In what form the output is. See the first string from where, from here. Just a minute. Okay. See, this is the first string. Title equal to Java, colon, the complete reference. So what is happening over here with this program is, it has broken down that particular data into some discrete part according to the delimiter what we have specified over here. Wherever there will be an equal, it will break that data. So you can see here, title, then Java, colon, complete reference. Similarly, you can observe here, again, the next string, author equal to Shield. See here, author and Shield. So nothing but what we are doing over here is, we are using the string tokenizer class to break the data into some discrete part. Okay, so now go back to the theory. You see here, the process of text often consists of formatting and input string. So what kind of formatting it will consist of is, it will consist of parsing. What is parsing is, it is the division of text into some discrete parts. Okay, parsing is the division of text into set of discrete parts or tokens, which is nothing but a certain sequence which can convey some meaning. Okay, so how it will achieve is, it will provide the first step in this process called lexer or scanner. Okay, lexer or scanner. Just a second. Yeah. So see here, string tokenizer implements enumeration interface. Therefore, given an input string, you can enumerate it. Okay, enumerate the individual token. Enumerate means, don't get confused. It will read the data into some form so that it can get break. Okay, so for that one, what we will be doing is, to use string tokenizer, you specify an input string and a string that contains delimiters. Okay, what are delimiters? Like over here, I have provided over here this equal to and semicolon. So these are the delimiters. According to this, the data will be parsed. Okay, it will be broken down. That is the delimiter. So you see here, each character in the delimiter consists of a valid delimiter. For example, these things, like you can see, comma, semicolon, colon. They sets the delimiters to comma, semicolon, and colon. And the default set of delimiters consists of white space also. That is space, tab, form, feed, new line, and carriage return. And these are the three constructors. Among them, we will use one constructor in our program. And you can see once you have created a string tokenizer, you can use next to token method, which is used to extract the tokens. Okay, like in our program, we have got next to token. I will explain that, don't worry. Okay, and remember, the has more tokens returns true while there are more tokens to be extracted. Okay, this is the has more tokens. Okay, first of all, initially, what is the token? Title equal to Java the complete reference. This is the first token. So while condition, it will check yes, it has got some token to read. So while loop will be true. That is the thing. Next thing is next to token, string key equal to next to token. Remember, next to token, how it will be evaluated is next to token. In this one, title equal to Java till complete reference with semicolon. So what this next token will do is it will first try to start reading from title, but it will check during the reading of this data whether any delimiter has been encountered, then it will stop from there. So title, it will read, and after that it will check that there is a delimiter, so it will stop. So key value will be equal to only title. So that is why you can see the output in this way. This is the key. Then it will come to the 9th line, string val equal to next to token. So next to token means from where it was stopped from equal to. After equal to is done, after that whatever is there, it will read till the next delimiter. It will read Java the complete reference, and it will stop. Why it will stop? After that there is a delimiter again here. So it will read till the complete reference till here. Okay, so this way it will read the data. Okay, and 10th line it will fetch. It will print the key value, that is title, and it is printing the complete reference. After that it will come back to the while loop again. It will check whether there is any other data. It will return true, like that. Same thing it will do till 2014. Okay, 10th line it will print till copyright 2014. Like that. Then again it will come back to while loop. It will read after copyright equal to 2014 whether it is consisting of any other data. No, so it will be false. In this way it will exit from while loop. So this was the explanation of this concept, string tokenizer class, students. I hope you all have understood. Okay. Okay, students, the next topic is date class. In this one, you can see the date class encapsulates the current date and time. Okay, the current date and time. And remember this, date supports the following non-deprecated constructors, that are this one. Okay. And few more things are, let us see here. Before examining of date, it is important to point out that it has been changed from its original version of Java 1.0. When Java 1.1 was released, many of functions carried out by original date were moved to calendar class and date format classes. Okay, so remember one thing, many of original 1.0 date methods have been deprecated. Okay, since then the deprecated 1.0 method should not be used for new code. They are not described over. We will see them later on. Okay, see here the first constructor initializes the objects with current date and time. That is this one without parameter. The second one, what it will do is it will give you the number of milliseconds. Okay, if you are going to use this second constructor, it will return the value of number of milliseconds from January 1, 1970. Okay, as you can see over here, the one which I have highlighted here. Okay, now these are the non-deprecated methods by date class: after, before, clone, compare to, equals, date from, get time, hash code, set time, instance, toString. Okay, students, so let me open the program. I will execute and I will show you all. What is the name? Date demo it is. Just open the program. Okay. Here it is. Okay. Let's compile the program. It is compiled. Okay. Now let me run the program. So you can observe here, students, at line number 6, we have used the date class with an object with the first constructor from the textbook what I have shown without parameter. Okay, and at line number 8, we are displaying that object. So we are able to see the current date and time. Friday, August 13, 11:32, the present date is IST. Okay, 2021. Okay, then next at line number 9, we are using one method, get time. Okay, you can observe here the purpose of get time method from this table. It returns the number of milliseconds. You observe here. The description here it is. Okay, that have elapsed since January 1970. Okay, so this is the output. If you run again, it will change. Okay, with more values. Okay, students, I hope you all have understood this particular example program and what is the class date. The next is calendar class. Remember here, the abstract calendar class provides a set of methods that allows you to convert a time into milliseconds to a number of useful components. Okay, so like examples, type of information that can be provided are year, month, day, hour, minute, and second. Okay, so it is intended that subclasses of calendar will provide the specific functionality. Okay, so even this has I have copied the program. Let me open that program. What is the name? Calendar demo it is. Yeah, calendar demo. It's very simple, students. See here. Okay, and just before that, you just see here before the execution. At line number 5, there is an array months which is assigned with some values of string values. Okay, Jan, Feb, so on till this DEC, that is December. So months is an array over here which is consisting of short forms of the months. Okay, then line number 9, we have got a calendar class which has an object, and to that we are invoking a method get instance. Okay, just observe here what is the purpose of get instance method over here. It is, see here, students, it returns a calendar object for the default locale and time zone. Okay, for the default locale according to our computer. Okay, it will return the default locale and time zone. Okay, and you all please observe it. Okay, I have set till 9 now. Then just remember, try to remember this. What is this get instance going to give you? Returns the calendar object for the default locale and time zone. Now just see here. Let me compile the program first. What is the name? Calendar of the program. Calendar demo.java. It is compiled. Now let's run the program. See here, students. Just observe here at line number 11, it is printing the string date till here. Then at line number 12, you all please observe it has got months. What is that? It is an array here, but between that, this is what the instance what the get method is going to get. Okay, get, it is what it is going to get, calendar dot month. So according to my computer, what is the month of the, what is the month the computer is having is August. So that is this AUG. From where? From this array, the abbreviated one. The abbreviated one AUG, that is. Okay, I'll just minimize it. Okay. AUG. Fine. I hope you all have understood. Then after that, it's very simple. Then we have got line number 13. And remember, students, it is not println, it is print. So that is why you are able to see the output in one line only. So next, 12th line, again it is printing. What it is printing? Calendar dot, 13th line. Print. What it is printing? Calendar dot date. So 13, that is. Okay. Then line number 14, remember 14 is println. So after it prints, it will make the control to move to the next line. Print calendar dot year. It is printing 2021. Okay, students, I hope you all have understood. Similarly, 15th line till 18th line, what it is 16th line hour, 17th line minute, 18th line second. It is printing hour, minute, and second. Then after that, 20th line, 20, 20, 21, and 22. Remember, here we are setting our name, our time. We are setting our time. Okay. What we are setting in our computer, calendar dot year, let it be 10, calendar dot second, minute 29, calendar dot second 22. In our program, we are setting. So we have set that. Now to get that time, again, same concept what we have seen in line number 16, 17, 18. That same line you have to write. Same line of code, 24, 25, 26. So you can see that what we have set. I hope you all have understood this. Okay, students, the last topic is for today's class is timer and timer task. Remember, it is a very interesting topic. An interesting and useful feature offered by Java.util is the ability to schedule a task for execution at some future time. Okay, like an alarm, I can say. What is an alarm? You will set it to ring the bell at some point of time so that you can get an alert message, like alarm watches. We will set the time for the morning to wake up early, 4 o'clock. So at 4 o'clock, a bell will ring. Okay, so that kind of achievement we can achieve it by using timer and timer class. Okay, so that it will be providing the support to us. So you see the classes that support this are timer and timer class. What will happen is using these classes, you can create a thread that runs in the background and waiting for a specific amount of time. Okay, let me open the program. It will take just 2 minutes. So see, students, this is the program of timer and timer task. Before I explain the methods and the theory part, what I'll do is I will make you to understand the definition of timer and timer class. See here, this is a schedule method. With the help of this schedule method, you can set a task to execute after a certain amount of time. Over here it is 1000 milliseconds. So what I'll do is I will make it to 2 milliseconds. Sorry, 2 seconds. That is 2000 milliseconds. Save it. Now you all please try to observe the output and what way or how many seconds it will take to schedule the task. See, let's first execute the program. What is the name of the class? TT test. Okay. It is compiled here. It will run here. Now you all observe here. See here. sorry, again you observe what is there over here, 2 seconds. So after I press the enter to run the program, it will take 2 seconds. 1, 2. Got it. And each task is having a difference of half second. Okay, let me change this. I'll provide here 4 seconds. I'll provide here 2 seconds. And I will save it. Now you see here, what to observe is, first of all, the task will take 4 seconds as I have specified here. And between each and every task, it will take 2 seconds, okay, to stop and start. So compile it and run it. Observe here, 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, as over here, there are only 5 milliseconds. No, change this one also. Observe it. Okay, I hope you all have understood it. Or else I will make this for 2 minutes. And you can observe here. Compile. And now you see 4 seconds after that. And after 4 seconds, each task taking 2 seconds. Okay, students, I hope you have understood the task of timer and task class. Now see here, the timer and task will work together. Timer is the class that you will use to schedule a task for execution. The task being scheduled must be an instance of timer task. Remember this point. Okay. And to schedule, you will first create a timer task object and then schedule it for execution using an instance of timer. And timer task implements the runnable interface. Okay, and try to remember these are the constructors which are used in our program. So you can observe here, timer task implements runnable interface. See here, this is the class which is implementing timer task interface. So what is happening over here? Run method is invoked. Okay, and execution starts from here. So my timer task object is created. Okay, and timer class object, this one is my timer. And on timer class, scheduled method. Okay, remember this. See, timer class is the class that you will schedule a task for execution. That is this point. My timer is an object to timer class. On this, the task is scheduled. Okay. And you can observe when this method is invoked, you have to see this output, this run method. So after 4 seconds, it has started, and okay, and with a gap of 2 seconds. For how many amount of time it is? 2 minutes this code will run. Okay. I hope you all have understood the program. So this is what seconds, 20,000 seconds means 20 seconds, that is 20,000 milliseconds, that is 20 seconds. Okay, if it is 10,000 means it is for 10 seconds. That's a correction. Okay, you just make it 10,000 seconds, 10,000 milliseconds. This is means 10 seconds. If I'm making it 20,000, it is 20 seconds. Okay, that's a correction.